How did you get the courage to take the leap? This is something that came up with me and my friend as we were talking about starting the podcast. And there's so many things that I could, say as an explanation of why I chose to do this and how I ended up doing it and things like that. And while I could go on and on about the story, I do want to tell a little bit about the story, but also give you some tips to help you take the leap yourself if you have something that you want to be taking a leap on. I have so many ideas, and let me know if you're like me in this sense, that we are just filled with so many ideas, especially if you're a manifesting generator like me, that sometimes it's hard to kind of take the step and do something. And as I was spending some time in meditation and everything, something that came through was like, you need to just do it. Like whatever it is that you want to do it. And in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through some of the steps I took to help me figure out that talking to you and sharing stories in this way is something that I wanted to do. So welcome back to the Sancocho Diaries. I missed you since our last hangout. Let's jump into today's episode and talk about what I've been simmering on. So I want to preface this by saying there was lots of synchronicities that came through when I finally realized that I wanted to start a podcast. If you follow me on Instagram, and a couple years ago, you would have known that I actually was on a podcast. I worked in the Food Heritage Radio Network to do like a food storytelling podcast. And when I did that, I was like, oh, goal accomplished. I always had this vision of me like hearing my name in the credits. And when I did that, I did it. Like I could hear my name in the credits. But in there was also like, okay, but we want more. And I kind of ignored that because I had other things that I wanted to do, or I didn't think I could do it truthfully. And when I sat down to kind of put all the pieces together that were coming through, something just said, go for it. Like really, really go for it. And actually last night I had trouble falling asleep and I was going through one of my journals. And in 2023, I had a meditation with my ancestors and they gave me a microphone. And, I've dibble-dabbled in YouTube here and there and like go on and go off. But the seed's always been there. I just haven't been able to see it as clearly as I do now. And so two things made it really clear for me. One, I was in this workshop, and in the workshop we had to have these 4 questions guiding us to help us figure out what is our thread, like our through line that helps us understand like what we're here to do and what we want to do based on a series of questions that we cast to the field. That's what the workshop instructor kind of guided us through. And at the same time, that instructor encouraged us or gave us a suggestion to read The Big Leap by, I don't know his name. Sorry, dude. It's like Gay Hendrickson, maybe. And during that time, I was scrolling on Instagram and one of my favorite creators, which I think her name is Yogi Babe. I'm really bad with names, clearly. But she had like over recommended that book in one of her carousels. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a leap and read this book. So the book is called The Big Leap. And what I want to do today is kind of break down what the book kind of said and how that led to me doing this podcast. And hopefully you can take notes. If something is striking up for you, you can re-listen to this if you want to like figure out how to take your own leap. But let's dig in. So first, the book talks about an upper limit problem. And basically it's, if you don't know it's okay to feel good and have a good time, you do something to mess it up. And his whole argument is that we all have an upper limit problem because we kind of get in our ways of doing things that make us happy or make us feel good, whether it's getting sick or causing an argument or whatever. There's many scenarios that he illustrates in the book to help you understand like what is your upper limit problem and how can you create that. And then he goes on many different things. I took like extensive notes in this book because I really like it. I've heard it twice already. I think this is a book that I'll keep visiting. But the key concept of the leap, in my eyes, is getting into your zone of genius. So he talks a little bit about how there's a zone of incompetence, competence, excellence, and genius. And what we really want to do is find out what our zone of genius is and work on that every day, 10 minutes a day, if we can. And that recommendation of working on something for 10 minutes a day is something that if I could pinpoint all the creatives that I like to listen to, whether they're authors or artists, like painters or whatever, everyone's thing is dedicating time to their craft every day, just a little bit, every day, in different ways. For writers, it's always like a writing practice every day in the morning, generally, whenever it fits. But really dedicating time to that craft allows you to be good at that. So in finding your zone of genius, he points out that your zone of genius is where your special gifts and your strengths are, as opposed to your zone of excellence, which is something that you're good at. Like people come to you even to do it and you can kind of do it in your sleep. Yeah, you're really good at it, but it doesn't ignite you. It doesn't make you excited. It doesn't fill up your cup. And what he argues in the book is that we have to find our zone of genius and take the leap on whatever that thing is. And coupled with the exercise that I did in that other class, something that came through is that something that people come to me for is advice, really. Yes, my job is to counsel people around nutrition, but that opens the door to a lot of things as it relates to yourself, to liberation as a whole. And if I'm thinking about my zone of genius, it's how can I use that thing and that thing that ignites me, being able to have those conversations in a way that makes sense, which leads me to here talking to you. I feel like I'm talking really fast. So the questions that he proposed to help you find your zone of genius is basically, what do I most love to do? It's 4 questions. So first question is, what do I most love to do? And he emphasized love. What do you love to do? I love to talk. I love to talk. I can talk until I'm tired of talking, and then I'll be quiet. I'll be very quiet, but I love to talk. And I also love to help people see patterns. And I also love to help people connect the dots in things. I also love to make things, whether it's creative projects or just things with my hands. I love to do that. And I love learning things as it relates to things that I can share. I have so many things that I love. But that is the first question that he encourages you to wonder about it. Yes, journal prompt about it, write it down, do a voice video journal. Think about it, but allow yourself to also daydream about it. And I would even think it would be beneficial to meditate on it. What comes down from the cosmos for you when you allow yourself to wonder about the things that you love. And think about it without an upper limit, right? Think about it in the sense of you are entitled to feel good all the time. All the time. And what comes up when you think about that? Then question number 2, he says, what work do I do that doesn't seem like work? And the best way that I can help you kind of figure that out is think about those times when you're in the zone. For me, it's when I'm making a beautiful Canva carousel or editing a video or typing ferociously on my keyboard to make a story on my Substack, all of these things where I lose track of time. That is something that you should pay attention to because that's getting you closer to understanding what your zone of genius is. When I'm working with clients and it's a really good session and we're vibing and flowing and they're connecting the dots and they're healing in real time, I love that feeling. Another book that kind of talks about this is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She also very much talks about this feeling and how we have to follow that feeling and see where it leads to help us do whatever it is that we need to do. So that's question number 2. Then question number 3, what produces the highest ratio of abundance and satisfaction to the amount of time spent? And I wrote structure and make it a priority. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that question. And then he says, once you find that, how can you structure it in and make it a priority? In the book, she gave an example, or he gave an example of this woman that loved writing, but would prioritize getting her household tasks done first. And he was like, oh, so you don't prioritize your writing? And she's like, no, I do. I just want to get whatever. So end of the day, he encouraged her to do the writing first and then the household tasks. And she ended up being a really great writer. And what this question causes you to wonder about is like, how can you make space for those things that give you that sense of abundance in the shortest amount of time, really, or as consistently as you can, so that you're able to continue to produce and have fun while you're doing it. And then lastly, the fourth question to help you figure out your zone of genius is, what is my unique ability? And in this question is where I kind of leaned into my human design to help me figure it out in a way that makes sense. He also used a Russian doll analogy, which when you look at a Russian doll and how they all open up, the smallest doll is your unique ability. And how do you figure that out? So maybe that will be helpful for you. But my human design is what was helpful for me, which I found this one creator on Threads, Pointy Aura, I think is her name. And she had a guide where basically you put in your birth time and where you're born and all that stuff. And then you get your human design based on this other table that she's saying. And when I was able to look through it in that way, basically my human design says that I'm a yapper. I have a ability to be able to talk about things that come from my heart and allow that to be a tool to help people heal and center love and how it benefits the collective as a large. And so many other little things. Like there's more things I can talk about with my human design. And I do encourage you to look into your human design in that lens too. Like, what is your gift for the world? But all of those pieces together really solidified, like, if this is something that you like to do and you feel this like ratio of abundance and doesn't seem like work, like me talking to you through this microphone and staring at this camera, if you're watching on YouTube, doesn't feel like work. It feels exciting. It feels fun. It feels freeing in a sense. And it is much quicker than typing. I do love writing on my Substack, but using my voice, it is much faster. So reading all of that, and then him talking about how to refine your genius and all of these different things helped me kind of see that there really is nothing getting in the way of you just doing the thing that you want to do. As long as it's, especially for me, as long as it's rooted in love and love for the collective and for the well-being of the collective, and your ancestors and your guides support it, there's really no reason for you to do something, because what is the worst that can happen? You fail, okay? You just get up and do something else. But if you really lean into your zone of genius, which is what he's arguing, you can't really fail because you're leading into the things that is on your path anyway. It's the things that are exciting and exhilarating for you. And you should do that, especially if we think about life being only one in this body. Especially if we think about how many more decades we have left in our lives. I think about that with my friends a lot. We kind of get into it. I'm like, we got like 6 decades left at max. It's true. Like, we really don't have that much time on Earth. And why waste it being scared or causing us to be a little bit in the way of the things that we could be doing? And I had a realization with this book, with that class. I was also at the time doing like a 14-day breath work and a 21-day Reiki. So I was really like getting to the core of what the heck am I doing here? And what am I wasting time on that I don't want to be doing, so that I can prioritize that time? And that led me here. And I think there's something that we all have to contribute that allows us to be creative in whatever way, that we need to answer the call and take the leap, especially now where there's just so much going on in the world. Tragedies upon tragedies every day, and just so many more things that I'm not going to get into right now, that we really need to get into the spiral, is what he calls it. We need to get into the life. We need to jump in and do the things that we are wanting to do and are almost made to do, so that we can be supportive of the new world that we want to bring in. And it is that deep. I don't want to like bring it down, but it is that deep. Like, if we can't all get into our bag of who we are, it's just not gonna be good. It's just not gonna be great. And there was something that he said that I wanted to talk about here, but I can't find. Oh, here it is. Wow. Your ultra success mantra. And this is something that he encouraged you to kind of repeat often to help you remember what you're here to do, and your innate, I want to say like your innate contract, or your innate responsibility, or your innate, like it's owed to you to be successful. It's owed to you. You just have to claim it. You just have to work towards it. You just have to put in the work. You just have to take the leap. It's really that simple. And the ultra success mantra that he wants us to repeat is, I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. I want you to write that down. I want you to repeat it. I want you to repeat it in many different ways throughout the day. Put it on your laptop. Make it your desktop background. You are here to expand in all of these different ways. It's entitled to you. That's the word I was looking for. That's something that you're entitled to. So I hope that me breaking down, what it took for me to take this leap to be in your ears every week-ish. I hope that me sharing this story inspires you to take the leap, because we need you. And I know you have something unique and beautiful and amazing to bring into the world, to bring light onto. And I just want to see you bring that light. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let me know in the comments what's bubbling up to the surface for you as you're hearing this, and what is the thing that you want to take the leap on. Share it so I can support you, cheer you on, see it come to fruition. But let's take that leap together. Let's continue to support each other as we take the leap, and allow yourself to be in your zone of genius. And I really had fun talking about this, so maybe I'll talk about some other books that I'm reading. I feel like that was fun, and it helped me retain the information better since I had to take so many notes. So yeah, maybe I'll talk about another book that I'm reading, and we can chat about it together. And I'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, to wherever you listen to podcasts, to the Substack, all of those things. I'm looking forward to our next chat. Love you. Bye.